Hello everybody, Xanathar here, and today I'm doing a review of King Kong. Let's get into the basic plot. So there's a character called Carl, and he's making a movie, and you need to find an actress. So he finds Ann Darrow and hires her to be in his movie. They go on a ship to Skull Island, and falls in love with a character called Jack, and they go to the island, and gets kidnapped by the island natives, and Carl, Jack, and the shipmates all go looking for Anne, and the shipmates all get killed. Kara and Jack decide to split up. Kara decides to go back to the ship. Jack decides to go looking for Anne still. Jack finds Anne and escapes with her. And Cons go chasing them. And Kara knocks out Con with the gas bomb. And they capture Con, bring them to New York City. Con breaks out, kidnaps Anne, climbs the Empire State Building, and gets shot down by planes. And Kara says a famous line: "It was not the airplanes that got him, it was beauty killed the beast." And that's the basic plot. So we're talking about the characters. The characters are pretty good in this movie. Let's first talk about the beauty that tamed the beast, Ann Darrow. She's alright in the beginning, but when she meets Khan, she just does nothing but scream all the time, and it gets kind of annoying. So yeah. Jack, he's alright character, he's the man that falls in love with Anne and goes up and saves her. So he's a typical hero character, and he is alright. But my favorite character is Carl Denham. Carl is probably my favorite one in his whole movie. I just love his character, I love his charisma, I love his lines. I love the fact he holds his own camera while he's making his movie. That's something I find so cool. And he used to have a cameraman, but his camera got scared, so he decided to just do it himself. And that's something I just find epic, honestly. I just love the fact he's a filmmaker, and we would do anything to make his movie. And that's something I find cool. A lot of people say he's a villain in King Kong, and I disagree with that. I don't think he's a villain. He's one of the first men to go up and save Anne without his camera. He's not even thinking about making his movie. The only time when he thinks about greed is when Khan is coming down. He knows he can capture him with his gas bombs. And that's the only time when he becomes greedy. But realistically, his first attention is to protect Anne and everybody else. That's something I find very interesting about Carl, and I like about him. But yeah, Carl is my favorite character. Captain Einhorn is a good character as well. I really like his relationship with Carl and Jack and everybody else. So yeah, just the characters are just really good in this movie. The effects are great in this movie. They are just awesome, honestly. The stop motion is so beautifully made, and it's so just awesome looking. It's done excellently by Willis O'Brien, and it just looks amazing. Kong, he acts so much like an animal, and that's something I just find neat. He's terrifying, he's curious, he's kind of stupid, honestly. But yeah, no, Khan is just a sympathetic character, honestly. You just feel bad for the creature because really he has no clue what he's doing. But yeah, the dinosaurs are all great. The meat eater, the T-Rex, he's just amazing looking. The King Kong versus T-Rex fight is just always cool, and I always love that fight. The music in this movie is so great and so suspenseful. I absolutely love the music in this movie. So what do I think of the original King Kong? Well, I love this movie. It's a classic. It's so beautifully made, and it's just a nice movie to study and think about how they did the effects. And it just inspires me to be a filmmaker. I want to make movies, and this movie inspires me to do that. You can just see so much passion and love in this movie. You can see all the passion and love in it, and it's so beautifully made. Just everything about it. Without the original King Kong, we would never got Godzilla or Ultraman or other famous monsters. This movie inspires so many filmmakers and everything. This movie is just so much for the movie genre. And that's something I always found neat about the original King Kong, and always loved about the original King Kong. This movie is one of my favorite movies ever, honestly. So, what rating would I give this movie? Easily a 10 out of 10. This movie is such a masterpiece, and if you hadn't seen it, go check it out because you're easily missing out. This movie is so beautifully made. And yeah. So that's a review. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Xanathar is out.